Hi everyone, I'm the Marvelous Mary and we are back. We are now, we're 4 episodes deep into Bridgerton at this point, and wow, we've learned quite a bit. So, I only had done the first episode last time. I'm 4 episodes in now, and there is a lot of information. So let's get started. Let's start with the Duke, I think. So the person that I thought was his mother is actually not his mother. Mother figure, but not actually his mother. Really love her. She's great. She's hilarious. She's strong-willed and funny and tells him what's what, and I love it. But the Duke's actual mother died in childbirth, which is truly keeping for the times, as that was what many women died from, since that was their sole purpose. It's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. She died in childbirth, and then his father was really cruel and thought he was an imbecile, told him as much, constantly told him that, because he had a speech impediment and a stutter. So even though he was good at his studies and he was really good at fencing and all the things that a young boy's supposed to be good at, he couldn't speak well, so his father completely disowns him, which is horrible. And this lovely woman takes him under her wing and teaches him how to walk into a room and be confident and, present himself well, and helps him get rid of the stutter and, become the man he's meant to be and the leader of the household. And in the first episode, you really think that the Duke is this womanizer who just doesn't want to get married because he just loves to flit about with all the women and sleep around and travel the country and doesn't really want the responsibilities of the household and all those things, and so he just does what he pleases, and that's the kind of the impression that you get, or what you're led to believe. But it's a little bit more complicated than that, clearly, when his father is on his deathbed, and the Duke goes to him, and his father, says all the things the father is supposed to say now, and says how proud he is of the man he's become, and he's so happy that he'll be able to carry on, the name and everything, and the Duke looks at him and he says, I will never marry and I will never have a son, and so the name will die with me. And then his father dies. And whoa, that's why he doesn't want to get married. It's the ultimate revenge on his father, which is fantastic and so sad. So yeah, that we learned that about the Duke. We learn at the end of the first episode that he and Daphne Bridgerton have decided to conduct this ruse so that Lady Whistlebomb, whatever she is, will leave the Duke alone, and then Daphne will have literally any suitor she wants, and she can pick from whomever she wants, and can choose for herself who she wishes to marry. And so, the ruse has begun. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. This show is a lot of exposition, it's a lot of speaking. And, you would think that this could become extraordinarily dull. But it's not, because everyone is so dynamic, and it's 100%, it is still Gossip Girl. It really is Gossip Girl. It's hilarious, really. everything that they're talking about, not everything, but a lot of what they're talking about is the gossip and the who's in the know and who said what and who's sleeping with who and all that fun stuff. But, you know, then we do start to get a little bit of a background into each of the characters, and I appreciate that quite a bit. It makes it really interesting. It makes their relationships more rounded and their interactions more interesting. And you know, we know that the eldest Bridgerton son is very close friends with the Duke, and this is why he knows that he's never going to marry, and how could Daphne be interested? And, you know, at first when we were watching the first episode, and the eldest brother is very protective of Daphne, and so he keeps shooing away all of these different suitors, and it seems really endearing at first. Oh, the big brother, and he's so protective and he wants the best for her. But then Nigel, that nasty little rat of a man, he chooses him and says, you're going to marry him. That's the end of it. Because his mother came into the office and said something very triggering to him. Something along the lines of, you know, are you going to be the man of this household? Are you going to do the things you need to do as the man of this household? Are you going to actually be the man of this household? And that triggers him deeply, so he thinks he has to make this great decision and pick Daphne's husband, and he picks a terrible one, promises her to him. Daphne really clocks Nigel, and it was fantastic to watch. I loved it, just right in the face. She hits him so hard, it was great. And I loved that. And then getting to watch the Duke just to a pulp, just beat Nigel to an inch of his life, really. And it sounds morbid, but like, oh, that man deserved it. He's disgusting. Really nasty little man. And I didn't think he would come back quite so soon, and then he's in like the second episode. Yeah, really interesting. And you know, there's so much going on. You have the Featherton lot over there doing their thing, and she's hidden away the cousin who's not actually a cousin, we find out, and doesn't want anyone to know she's pregnant, so she's trying to find her a husband quickly, so as they won't suspect anything. But then we find out that the girl has the father is away in Spain, and he's fighting for king and country, as it were, and he, you know, she's written him beautiful love letters, and obviously when he finds out, he will come rushing back to her side, and because they love each other and all that stuff. And you know, the mother's just like, no, that's not true, men aren't like that. There are many men who find out that there's a bun in the oven and want nothing to do with it and want no part of it, and you know, say that they didn't do it, or that, you know, they had no part in it, and so it's not their problem. Tries to convince her of this, and of course she doesn't believe her. That the Featherington mother tries to take her to, you know, what is effectively the slums, and says, oh, you're going to end up here, and try to scare her into wanting to just choose a man. And she looks around and says, is this supposed to scare me? I see hardworking people who are just trying to make their way through life and work hard and earn their dollars, and that's it. And, you know, she says, what about the children? And then they pan over, and there's this sad little boy who was sitting on the street, clearly hungry. It's, you know, very sad. And And then we learn that the youngest Featherington, whatever their name is, knows what's going on and is, very much interested in the love story, and they're waiting to hear back from the father, and it's all of these things. And when they finally hear back, they're very excited, and it's the worst news that they could possibly get. The man wants nothing to do with her, but then we find out that that wasn't actually what the letter said. The letter was intercepted by Featherington Mum, and then they rewrote it to say these dreadful things, and the little, governess, whatever she is, says, what if he comes back to collect her? And the mother says, oh, he definitely won't. Well, we all know that that's not going to happen now, is it? She's thrown it in the universe, so obviously this man is going to show up at some point. At least that's my theory. And there's just so many things going on. You've got the little prissy girl who wants to marry the prince. Surprise, there's a prince. The queen brings a prince. And the prince is interested in Daphne and whatever. There's so many things, but obviously we're rooting for Daphne and the Duke because they're connecting and they're becoming very friendly, and they have the moment in the art gallery, and it's very sweet, and they bond over the painting that the Duke, has fond memories of his mother that he never knew. She picked it, and then Daphne has a relation to it, waking up in the country and the warm feelings of all of that. And so they bond and they hold hands for just a second. They touch hands. It's very sweet, very nice, very romantic. And then it all starts to kind of fall apart. But before that happens, there is this one particular conversation that I loved. It was probably my favorite moment so far, where Daphne, they're at this outdoor garden party, whatever, picnic, and Daphne is telling the Duke, you need to tell me what I'm supposed to feel, what I'm looking for, what am I supposed to feel, what am I looking for in a man? And he goes, no, I can't tell you that. And she goes, who else should tell me but not my friend? You are my friend, no, you're not really a suitor, so just tell me. And they have the funniest conversation about, and you can tell how embarrassed he is to even say it to her, and the look on her face is sheer shock and awe, because she has never in her life ever thought about doing this, and it is the most pure and hilarious conversation ever, where they talk about, he says, oh, well, you can, touch yourself when you're alone. It's so funny. And she is just wide-eyed, deer in the headlights. Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that. Gives her the flower, whatever, and she goes home that night and she does it, and bless her, good for you, Daphne, good for you. You get yours, girl, good for you. So funny. Oh, best part by far, my favorite. So funny. Good for her. But anyway, the prince comes in. The queen wants the prince to be with Daphne. She's the diamond, blah blah blah. And then the Duke's mother, I'm going to call her his mother, that's essentially the role she played in his life. So his mother says to him, if you're just messing about with Daphne, you need to stop. It's not fair. And he really takes it to heart, because he actually really admires Daphne and cares for her and wants what is best for her and wants her to have everything she truly desires. And so he breaks it off with her in a really rather brutish type of way, where he says, no, we were never friends. And that's a very, like, it's kind of a high school-y thing to do, where you're covering up for yourself, so you make the other person kind of feel bad, which was kind of like, this argument, this conflict is so unnecessary, and I wish he would have just been honest with her at that moment. Of course, it's a TV show, you need conflict, but it was frustrating at that moment. And I also really enjoy all of the little side things, the sisters. I really like the middle, I can't remember for the life of me what her name is, the middle Bridgerton sister, who really wants to expand her mind and become more than just a wife and a trophy and a thing that bears children. And I like that. It's nice to have that role there. And then, of course, then you get the conflict with her and the youngest Featherington girl, who is concerned about it and does want to get married. And so they have a little tiff at some point. And then we have the brother, the oldest Bridgerton brother, who is still hung up on the opera singer and loves her, and she won't have any of it because he kind of betrayed her, and this, that, and the other thing. And then we have the middle Bridgerton brother, and I like him. He wants to be an artist. He meets this other man who, I think there's something else there, and it's very exciting. I'm excited to see what happens. There's something there, so I'm excited. It's really cute, and he goes, and they're drawing the models, and he wants to be an artist, and he tells him, well, the oldest has all the responsibilities, and the middle has all the fun. I like that. So I hope that he gets to have a little bit of fun. The middle Bridgerton girl is trying to figure out who Lady Whistlebompton, whatever, who she is. She thinks it's a servant. Of course it wouldn't be a servant, because obviously they have far too much work to do to be figuring out all of the gossip, because why would they have time? They wouldn't even be at all of the parties and things like that. Some really humorous moments. And then the fourth episode, and spoilers, ends with the Duke, Simon, and Daphne outside of a ball. They kiss in the garden. They do a little bit more than kiss. It's pretty racy. And oldest Bridgerton brother sees, punches Duke in the face, says sister is ruined, challenges him to a duel to win back his sister's honor, because clearly it's just terrible that they kissed before being married, How dare they? And so the duel happens, but we learn, at least we think right now, that little prissy girl saw them in the garden as well. We don't know for a fact, but she did make that little remark. So perhaps she saw them in the garden. We don't know. We will find out. But the duel is about to happen. Daphne goes, rides a horse in the middle. You think Daphne gets shot. Spoiler, she doesn't. And the Duke essentially says, he doesn't want to marry her, and she's really upset, and, you'd rather die, then marry me, and it's a whole thing there. And then, you know, he makes this comment to her that he can't marry her because she wants children, and he can't give that to her. He can't give it to her. And that's his whole reasoning. Now, as far as I am aware, he doesn't want to have a son so that the name dies with him. Not that he can't bear children, that he doesn't want to for his little revenge plot. So the wording was really interesting there, where he says, you know, I can't give you children. I can't give you the things you want, and that's not fair to you. I hold you in too high of a regard, so I can't marry you. And it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be a fair thing for me to ask of you to marry me because I can't give you the things you want. To which Daphne very quickly turns and says, you know, the duel will not need to continue because the Duke and I are to be married. End of episode. That's where I'm at. So, all of that information to say I'm very much enjoying the show. It is a lot of dialogue. But again, they're very dynamic. They're very interesting. Everyone does a good job. They are very good actors. I love, so little fun fact, the Featherington father who has the gambling problem, and we learn that they're basically broke. He is the detective in Death in Paradise for a few seasons, and I love him. He's a fantastic detective. I love that show. It's wonderful. So also go watch Death in Paradise. It's fantastic. I love detective shows. So good. Anyway, that's a little fun tidbit, but yeah, lots of information, lots of talking, lots of back and forths, and you would think that it could get incredibly dull, but it really doesn't, because they all do such a good job. The movement is good. The soundtrack is actually really good. It's very interesting that they took... It's not all songs that are current. It's just one or two in each episode. But, you know, you have Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, there's lots of people in the now, and they do covers of classical covers of these songs, and they're in the show, which I think is really interesting that they did. Caleb actually is the one who first noticed it, and then we were sitting there and he goes, I think that's Billie Eilish. I think that's Bad Guy. And oh, it absolutely was. So thanks for our jobs for listening to all of the new hit songs over and over again so that we recognize them when they're in a TV show as a classic song. That's a really interesting thing, though, because again, they do play on some topics of, you know, women not being able to do some of the things that do. River just ruining the green screen, it's fine. Women not being able to do the things that they want to do, or do more than just have a child and be a stay-at-home mother and a wife. That they can do that, and they can also have other dreams and goals and want to work and want to learn and read and improve their mind and do all the things that, you know, they're not allowed then. And it's not even one or the other, it's this one and that's it. So to take these strong female artists, and there are some men as well, but specifically these two who have made their way and made their dreams come true, and they've worked really hard and things like that. I thought that was a really interesting insert into the show. They just have really nice dialogue too. It's very witty and really fun. I enjoy it very much. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. The costumes have still been amazing. I also appreciate when the maids are doing the makeup for all of the rich ladies. And, you know, they're kind of looking in the... And there's one woman, she's standing behind her. It's so interesting. She's standing behind her and, you know, like leaning over and doing her blush and doing her eyebrows. And just, that is some talent right there. Because I tell you what, I have to take immense time to do my eyebrows. So good on her for not only doing it, like, behind this woman, but only looking in the mirror, so just like opposite of every move. Oh, it'd be so hard. So good for them. But I do appreciate that, you know, they have this person doing their makeup and, oh, do you not like the rouge? And no, I love it. I want more. And I love the dynamic between mother and daughter Daphne and Mrs. Bridgerton. She's lovely. When she got drunk, oh, that was great. I understand she knows her daughter loves the Duke, and here we are. She's flitting about with the prince. And yeah, really, really nice dynamic there. She's a good mom. She wants her daughter to find love, not just get married for status. That's really nice. It's still very much, you know, I want my daughter to get married. We haven't really seen any relationship between mother and like the middle daughter, because at this point she's supposed to be focused on finding a husband for her eldest, because her middle child is not in this season. She's waiting a season. All of those things. I'm interested to find out the gossip and what happens. I don't know this for certain, but I don't think we will find out who Lady Whistlebompton is. I think there will be another season, and we will find out later down the road. I don't know. I have no idea, but that is my theory. But yeah, that is about what I have for now. It's very good. I'm sorry if I spoiled anything for you if you're not caught up. I am halfway through. I'm really looking forward to the last 4 episodes. There's 8. It's not that many. It's not that bad. But yes, there you are. Thank you all very much, and I will see you next time. If you're new, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you have been here before, thank you for coming back. It's always lovely to see you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye. River wanted to say hi. She jumped on my lap right after. Hello, oh, meow.